Hello and welcome to the Hardcore Gamers Club, your safe spot for all things gaming. Today I'm going to show you a video from an individual that I actually sued and forced to buy the kid a new game system. We did settle out of court because of issues back and forth, and I didn't want the guy to go to jail for lying to the judge about being licensed, because he filed for the license the day he tried to tell the judge that my lawsuit was against a licensed business and I was actually slandering him, which was total crock of shit. Anyway, because of the settlement that we went through, the arbitrator and stuff, and forced him to buy a new game system for the kid, because I felt sorry for the guy. I didn't want him to go to jail, and he had upgraded his equipment and had learned better repairs. I felt that even though I don't approve of his past work and learning off of his customers, that at least now he's offering a better service. He was actually local here in the Fresno Clovis area, so I just put this video up mainly to show an extremely bad repair method by someone that was local. And like I said, I'm not allowed to mention his name as part of the settlement, so I'm not mentioning names. Just the fact that the guy was local here, and his shop starts with the name Computer, which half of them around here in Fresno Clovis area actually start with that name, so it really isn't going to describe the guy. So either way, just wanted to put this up to try and get you guys to understand. You need to look into the person that's going to be doing your repairs. Is he licensed? Is he licensed to do electronics repairs? The electronics repair industry is not an unregulated industry. You have to have a business license, and then you have to have a Bureau of Electronic and Appliance Repair license in order to do electronics repairs, because you can get your house burnt to the ground with you in it if they do something wrong. So it is extremely important. I get a lot of people, oh, I don't really care if you're licensed or not. I'm like, well, you should, because you can wind up with your house burning to the ground while you're asleep in bed. You know, it is that serious. Electronics is a serious danger, a fire hazard to anybody if they do not know what they're doing when it comes to electronics repairs. If they're learning off of YouTube, it is a fire hazard just to have them touching your box. Okay? So you do not ever want to use anyone that does not have a business license and a Bureau of Electronic and Appliance Repair license. In fact, if they refuse to give their licenses to you, you should actually report them to the BBB as being improperly or unlicensed business, so that they can be fined and put out of business. Trust me, the bear acts like a bear. They will go in and he will lose everything he owns, shop and all, and he will be shut down. Okay, a friend of mine, Sean, he owns several computer and repair services up and down in California. The Bureau of Electronic and Appliance Repair came into his shop and fined him upwards of $10,000 for 3 or 4 minor infractions when it came to finding pieces of wire in his trash can and not in the recyclable bin dedicated to recycling the electronic components. That is how strict they are. Okay, if you are not up to date and you're not posted, and you are, as a licensed business, is legally obligated to give your license to the individual that you are offering services for, you are legally obligated and can be fined for not posting your licenses on your automobile, if you have advertisements on it, on any ads you may post on Craigslist or anything like that, you must put your licensing on your advertising. It is the law. Everybody I'm seeing not putting up any licensing. Why? Because they don't have any, or they don't want you to know their license so that you cannot complain to the BBB about their license, because they're using a different name, or they're using a unregistered name or something to that effect, or they're not paying taxes and they don't want nobody to know about. These are individuals you want to steer clear of. These are the individuals who have been robbing kids blind. Let's take a look at the videos. Remember, I removed all mention of the individual from the video so that there is no way for this individual to be identified, and thus I am still leaving up the point of the video and holding up my end of the agreed upon settlement without bad-mouthing this individual to anyone. So I'm just showing only the repairs as an example of extremely bad repairs, okay? Let me recess back up here, because the video took your eye off the box for a second. Microsoft. Okay. Now I'm gonna break his seal. Now again, this is an older repair of his, so I can't say it didn't last a decent amount of time, but like I said, the customer told me that it was 4 red lights, so something hokey is going on here. Let me put a knife out here. Dust. Well, he did open the box because all the case screws are missing. That's a definite no-no. And case screws are there for a reason. Okay, and I'll explain that reason to you in just a second here. This metal housing here, the heat shield, excuse me, the case screws pull the housing down to the top of the heatsink. That forces the air to go completely through it rather than bypassing the top side and only going through the back quarter of it, because air travels path of least resistance. So that's a big no-no. Always put all 6 of the case screws back in if at all possible. Okay. Okay. Now, the X clamps are in the box, so we're going to take that apart right here. I know he talked about this gun in his other video, but like I said, this gun is an impact. It's very expensive. I can make it go as slow as I want, or as fast as I want, as soft or as hard as I want. And I thought it was funny that he mentioned it, me using an impact, and the fact that this gun would drive a screw through a 4x4, which is true, but I wasn't using it to put screws back in. I was using it to take his bolts out. Alright. We're going to see what kind of repair he did. I want to look at his paste job. You know, anybody claiming to be a professional, which he's not, because he just recently got his equipment and now he thinks he's better than somebody that actually has component level background in electronics, because he's got a cheap basic electronics certificate from some school for computer networking. This box is in for 3 red lights, by the way, which is what I suspect was the original problem. It's missing 1 screw here on the RF module. Not the biggest of deals, but you know, every screw has a purpose, okay? They put them there for a reason. Okay. Let's pull out, where's my, I'll just use this. There we go. We're going to pull off the heat sinks and take a look underneath. Okay. In 1 second, I forgot my X-clamp removal tool. So I'm going to run off real quick. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about the wait. Alright. Okay. You see that? Let me get a couple Q-tips here. Get some alcohol on them. I'm going to show you how professional this guy is. Real close at this. Okay, you just ignore this. That's why it went red light, right? But this is also why. See all this crap white thermal paste? You know, if Microsoft thought they could get away with using this cheapo, low budget stuff, they would. Trust me, they would love to save a penny or 2 per box. Okay. Look real close at this. You see that? That's old thermal paste. Okay. He didn't bother cleaning off the old thermal paste
the Arctic silver. See that? See how it's black underneath? That's old paste. The white's what he put on. See that? That gray. See? Didn't even bother cleaning off the old stuff. Right? How professional is that? How professional does this look? Alright, now I want to make a little note here. He says he reballs. See these glue chip retainers? They're all tacked. Okay. Look here at the GPU. They're all still here. You can't reball this box unless you remove these glue retainers, so this box was not reballed. See it? That is the old Arctic silver, all melted in there. He didn't even bother cleaning it up. Now, let me see if I can't clean a little bit of this white off the top of the chip. So some of that stuff on there. Alright. Now, look here. You see old thermal paste? Does that look like he cleaned off the old thermal paste from the CPU? This box was supposed to be repaired for 3 red lights. According to the customer, it was repaired for 4 red lights. So I don't understand why this is like this. But let me get this cleaned off here. This stuff is gray. That's the old Arctic silver. You can see it right here. See that? That's the old Arctic silver. And then he's got the cheap white that he just kind of lopped over the top of it callously. Okay. GPU side, you clean that up pretty good. Kind of scratch the heatsink a little bit right here. Whatever he was using to scrape that off with. And there's a little bit of scratch here. It's not so important there. But this one right here kind of goes through that. Okay. Pretty much cleaned the GPU off, but like I said, the customer said specifically, and I asked him like 6 or 7 times, 6 or 7 times, he swore up and down it was 4 red lights. Okay, so although he probably did this because it had 4 red lights, but like I said, 99% of the time, 4 red lights, actually 99.9999% of the time, 4 red lights is on the video cable that plugs to the TV, that plugs into the back of the box, just not properly plugged in. And he looked extremely shocked along with his mother when I told her that. So she'll probably be calling him shortly. Okay. But yeah, does that in any way look professional? His ads say professional. Say he respects his customers. Okay. I want you to look at that. Does that look like anybody that respects their customer? I would say absolutely not. I'm talking about the dust. That's just from age, right? In all likelihood, he got this box for 4 red lights, pulled off the heat sinks, put some new thermal paste on. This cheapo white stuff didn't bother cleaning off the CPU with any kind of cleanliness. Kind of wiped off the GPU and then just smeared on this white garbage and sent the box back. With all likelihood, all he had to do was tell the customer, hey, you know what, it's your video cable, and not charge them at all. But let's just assume it was a 3 red light issue. You remember his repairs? Okay. He's always got that nasty stuff all the way around his boxes whenever he does the reflows. Do you see any, let me get another clean, do you see any flux around these chips at all? Not even the slightest trace of a clean flux, or that nasty stuff that he normally uses and shows in his videos when he said that in order to do a reflow you have to remove these pieces here. Remember that? He said you have to remove them or you won't get a good reflow. And he knows better. Yeah. They're all still there. So I think that's plenty enough of showing you what the box looked like. Alright, it's obvious that he did not do any reflow whatsoever on this box, or if he did it with a dry. And because the box lasted as long as it did, I doubt seriously if he even did. With all likelihood, he just pulled the heat sinks off, put some new thermal paste on, put the heat sinks back on, obviously in a rush because he didn't bolt the box, and obviously in a rush because he just splattered the white crap on there. And because the customer emphatically insisted that it was 4 red lights, he charged her $45 to repaste the box. That is not a repair, that's a preventative. And you know what, I would have only charged $20, maybe $30. You know, sometimes depends on whether or not the person's telling me they're hurting for cash. You know, sometimes I'll give them a break. Normally I charge $30 just to repaste the box, because you do have to tear the whole thing apart as if you was doing a reflow or anything. But and it is labor intensive. But to charge her a full price repair for 4 red lights is flat out thievery, especially when the chips look like that. And 4 red lights is 99.99999% always the video cable not plugged in.
Okay, take a look here. Every single screw in the motherboard missing. Looks a lot like what my son's box did, with the exception of this one had screws in the drive. But these are all grounding points. You leave these off and it can lead to arcing or static discharge or static buildup that can catch the dust buildup, especially if it's more of a lint type dust. It can cause the box to short out, fry, and literally catch fire. Not a good thing to do, not to mention that it allows the board to just wildly bow and flex in every single direction that it wants to, because it's no longer freed to the board, and usually winds up ripping solder balls off in every single portion. The RF board, as you can see, I didn't even have to remove the T8s. It was not on there. Without them grounding points, it can fry components in that as well as on the board, causing no power issues that cannot be fixed because it's in a microcircuitry, thanks to a static discharge that fried a component. So yeah, this was an extremely bad repair job. Okay, so yeah, just take a look here. You see that white stuff on them little black chips? That's thermal paste from the first time he tried to repair it, doing a penny trick and bolt job, and then the next time it came back with the red lights, he most likely removed the pennies and tightened up the bolts because he knew it wasn't going to last any longer, and the customer would most likely try and repair it themselves afterwards, and he didn't want them to see the pennies in it. So yeah, not a good thing. Now you notice how this board is bouncing all over the place. That's because them bolts were in so tight that it literally bowed the motherboard itself, and then when I tried to do a reflow, it broke the chip. Now if you look real close right here, you can actually see how the motherboard bows in on that chip. I never really noticed that before, but if you back it up and watch, you'll see it. You can see the chip is actually bowed in. But yeah, this was an extremely bad repair. It literally put the kid's life in danger, and I'm not mentioning him here today on this video because I actually sued this individual for a slander case and forced him to buy that kid a new box under a settlement. I settled out of court because I didn't want the guy to go to jail for lying to the judge about being licensed and all kind of whacked out crap he told everybody. But I told him, I said, look, we can end this now. I'm sick and tired of the bull. If you pay the $200 to the kid to buy him a new box, I'll drop everything and we'll both not mention each other's name ever again. And we had both agreed. So just as a general note, anybody that has a game system that has the name of the repair facility that they had the repair from and no one else did the repair, and the name of the place is on the warranty seal, it could qualify you for a free repair. Now if it's a mail-in, you would still have to pay for postage, but it could qualify you for a free repair through me or a free repair attempt. Now if they did an extremely bad job like what you just seen, with all likelihood the box is not going to be repairable, but if they did put the X clamps back in, with all likelihood I can get it up and running for a nice good long time, depending on whether or not they were using proper equipment. or whether or not they were using a heat gun or towel tricking of the boxes. So it's really up to you. I always give an honest opinion as to whether or not I feel the box is worthy of being repaired, whether or not it would require a reball. I don't currently do that, because if you reball one chip, you need to reball them both. A lot of these guys will reball the graphics processor or GPU for 3 red light issues. There's only 16 solder balls underneath the GPU that can cause a 3 red light issue out of oh, I forget, 7,000, almost 1,000 0.6 millimeter solder balls. Only 16 of them solder balls will cause a 3 red light issue. That is because they go from the graphics processor to the CPU chip. The E74 is a graphics processor issue. Alright? All your on-screen E error codes, them are graphics code issues. Your pixelating, that's a graphics issue. Your 3 red light issues is going to shut the box down completely. That's a CPU issue. And again, vice versa, there are 16 issues that the CPU can put out that would cause a graphics error issue, and that would be the solder balls that send power back to the graphics processor to ask it to do something. Alright, I'll be putting up a video shortly talking about error codes and how they work, and what they're used for, and how useful they are to you as a citizen, and how to find out whether or not your repairman knows what he's doing when it comes to the game system repairs, providing they have not seen my video, because a lot of these guys actually do watch my videos religiously, hoping that I put out a piece of information that they can use. Now, I'm trying to get time to put up videos on repairs and whatnot, but you know what, I need to make a living too, and if you guys are not going to help me out by making donations and stuff like that to help give me time to do it, I'm not going to cut my own throat and take money out of my kids' mouth by teaching these individuals how to repair the boxes properly, when, you know, right now I can use the money. Now, if you want to substitute my income and make a few donations, then I'll be putting out a few better game systems. Now, I offer bonuses and giveaways for people who don't donate money. Check them out. I do believe I'm going to end the memberships. As far as the giveaways are concerned, I'm not going to end the giveaways, but I'm seriously considering ending the club membership and making it to where whenever I get a game system or something to give away, it will be for everybody, not just people who donated money. Okay? But I still haven't decided on that, and I won't be taking any donations for memberships currently on that until I decide to make up my mind on it. Because right now, I believe I am up to date on all the boxes. I guaranteed that I'd give away at least 3 game systems if somebody donated and became a member, and I'm pretty sure I gave away at least 3 game systems on the last giveaway from everybody. And I'll double check that. If I haven't, I'll make sure I get at least another one up before another couple up before the end of the year. That will be members only until the obligation has been met, and then I will put them up for everybody, not just members, but everybody. You won't need a member ID. It'll just be person that commented on the video 200th time will be able to win the box regardless of where they're from or whether or not they've donated and stuff like that. Okay, that way everybody gets a fair share, you know, because it's a bad economy. Not everybody can afford the $5. But if you can afford a measly donation, it would help get some of these videos out. I will be saving up the monies from the donations to purchase game systems to be given away. So if you can donate on a regular basis, from time to time, or just a good sum amount because you have it extra at the time, then do it. It'll help me get out game systems. You know, so everybody stay safe, happy gaming, and good luck. Remember, check your licensing if you need a repair. Now, as far as mail-in repairs are concerned, I always recommend you try and find somebody qualified local before you mail it in to me, because mail-in repairs always suck. I mean, I'm still cheaper in a lot of cases to mail it to me for the repair and get it back. However, because of the small amount I actually make on the mail-in repairs, I don't cover postage to and from under the warranty, although I will still cover the warranty. I do not cover the postage to or from my shop under the warranty, so it can, if something happens, become an issue that would cost you more money than if you had found somebody local. So I always recommend you try to find somebody local before you mail them in. If you can't find anybody local, give me a holler. We'll discuss what's going on with your box and whether or not I feel it's going to be a good repair. Now, don't lie to me just because you're embarrassed about what you've done to the box in the past. The more information I get about what was actually done on the box, the better chance of you sending me a box that is repairable, or that will likely be a good long-lasting repair because somebody hasn't damaged it beyond any kind of lasting repair due to towel tricking and stuff like that. Okay, so last time, stay safe, happy gaming, everyone.